I have walked across mountains and deserts to help my friend find his destiny.
Well, I am Grant from Screen Rant. It is great to see everyone again and get to talk about Rings of Power Season 2. From what I've seen so far, it's an excellent start to this amazing show already. Daniel, I'd love to come to you first. We start to see the stranger get something of a personality as he interacts more with the Harfoots here. And I'd love to hear what it's like exploring that side of the character as he still sort of comes into understanding his powers and his past.
Yes, good question. I think that he sort of headed off at the end of season 1 in this sort of quite positive frame of mind. This adventure, it's lovely sort of swaying grass there. Everything seems to be safe for a little bit, and very quickly everything goes upside down and wonky, and they don't have any food, they don't have any water, and the land is totally different, and suddenly he's in a totally different place to that which he's experienced in all his time on Middle Earth. And so as we watch that journey, I think that informs a huge amount for him. It's about how he reacts to Nori, what they can do as a team now, to get over the hurdles that are facing them. And then when Poppy comes back in, I think that's really good. I think he feels that's the old team back together, and yet it doesn't solve things. They still now have more problems, and in fact the problems get worse. And so how they all interact together, I think he's constantly learning. He's constantly trying to understand how to fix problems, but he probably doesn't trust himself enough to let go and actually be as useful as he could be. So it's sort of on a knife edge with him, I think.
So, Markella, I'd actually love to turn to you next to touch on that, because I feel like as a lot of obstacles start to come up this season, we see Nori's faith almost in the stranger start to get tested after she had so much trust in him in season 1. What is it like exploring that dynamic and what that journey is to come this season in comparison to season 1?
I mean, I think you're really correct in saying that her faith in him has been tested, but I do think that a lot of that was also her not being able to understand or be able to, also frustration with herself that she couldn't help him quickly enough find the meaning of the stars. And so I think that in this context now in season 2, her embarking on this journey, yes, it is to help him, but she also has a really strong sense of self in knowing that she's also out there to pursue her own aspirations and to explore the unknown and find her purpose. So those two, kind of the belief in him and the hope that she'll be able to help him and the hope that she'll be able to find her purpose, they coexist. And you just see her on that journey.
I really look forward to seeing what comes from that journey. And then, Megan, I will turn to you next. Obviously, Poppy has a deep care for Nori, but she also is someone who is a reluctant adventurer, if anything, when it comes to this world. And I'd love to hear sort of what you think Poppy's motivations are, maybe beyond Nori, for coming back to the group and sort of rejoining them on this journey.
Yeah, that's a really lovely, really well framed. I think something that's sort of drives Poppy always is her sense of belonging and her want for belonging. She's constantly looking for, she's lost so much. And so she doesn't place home, I think also because they're so migratory, the Harfoots, she doesn't place her home in necessarily a place, but it's beings. And Nori is definitely one of those beings, but she's still constantly searching for, as you said, more that is outside of her friendship with Nori, because even though that is so much, she's also still her own person. And so I think she's just constantly searching. And I think what's lovely in this season is you get to see a really lovely sort of development in her character. And she's just growing up. Like you just get to see that on the screen, which is really lovely. And I think that is one of those, that's definitely a theme that runs through this season for her.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a very meaningful season for all three of you. I see I already have to get out of here. So thank you all so much for taking the time. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. Take care.
When in doubt, Eleanor Brandyfoot. Always follow your nose.